85 laps to go when they cross the line this time. And what happened to Bubba? Did he spin the wheels? Logano gets the jump, and Hamlin's going with him.
Bubba Wallace just did something that's never been seen before in NASCAR, and what he said after his gateway incident with Kyle Larson is going to shock you. On Sunday, September 7th, at Worldwide Technology Raceway, the NASCAR playoffs were in full swing, and drivers were pushing everything to the limit because one bad race could send them home. Bubba Wallace was having the race of his life. He started way back in 14th place, but by stage 2, he was absolutely dominating. The guy led 73 laps and won the stage. Everything was clicking for the 2311 racing team. But then lap 156 happened. Wallace was leading the field on a restart, sitting pretty in the outside lane when disaster struck. His car got stuck in first gear. Now, if you've never seen what happens when a race car suddenly can't accelerate during a restart, it's terrifying. Cars are flying up behind you at 150 miles per hour, and you're basically a sitting duck. Kyle Larson was right there behind Wallace in his number 5 Chevrolet. The whole thing could have turned into a massive wreck that would have taken out half the playoff field. Somehow they avoided disaster, but Wallace lost the lead to Denny Hamlin and Joey Logano, and Chase Elliott slipped by too. Here's where it gets interesting. Most drivers would either stay quiet or make excuses, not Bubba Wallace. The first thing he did was get on his radio and ask his team to apologize to Kyle Larson. Think about that for a second. In the middle of a playoff race where every point matters, Wallace was worried about how his mechanical problem affected his competitor. This is especially crazy when you consider what happened earlier in the same race. Kyle Larson had his own incident on lap 135, where he made a mistake in turn 4 and sent Ryan Blaney spinning from 5th place. Chase Elliott also nudged Josh Berry into the wall earlier, smashing Berry's left front tire. Did either of those Hendrick Motorsports drivers apologize? Nope. Complete silence. After the race, Wallace sat down with NASCAR analyst Kelly Crandall, and what he said was pure class. He explained exactly what happened without making any excuses. Wallace told her,
"Yeah, no, I did it restart before and it was fine. So I need to go back and study how to do it better, but I hate it because I don't know if they gave the 5 damage, but they were solid cars and just unwarranted, unwarranted, but I don't know the right word. Not needed. Sure, there you go."
Let's break this down because it's actually shocking how honest he was. First, he admitted the same restart technique worked perfectly fine just one restart earlier. Second, he took full responsibility and said he needs to study how to do it better. Third, and this is the kicker, he was genuinely worried about whether his problem caused damage to Larson's car. Wallace went even further, calling the whole situation unwarranted and not needed. He promised to go back with his team and figure out exactly what went wrong so it doesn't happen again. This level of accountability is rare in any sport, let alone NASCAR, where emotions run high and blame usually gets thrown around like confetti. Kyle Larson's response was interesting too. He kept it professional, but you could tell he was frustrated. Larson said this after the race.
Points, but yeah, all in all, outside of that, it was a great race for us. We had a great car. Just the restart when the 23 wasn't able to get going kind of messed our I think it messed our strategy up and whatnot after that, so that was unfortunate, but yeah, proud of my team. Just a phenomenal race car, a place that we struggle at, style of track that we struggle at. So
Larson's team had a rocket ship that day, and they were planning their strategy around making big moves late in the race. Wallace's gear problem completely threw off their game plan. Instead of potentially fighting for a win, Larson ended up finishing 12th. You can understand why he'd be upset, but he handled it like a pro. The most telling moment came after the race on pit road. Jeff Gluck from The Athletic caught a photo of Wallace and Larson talking face to face. It wasn't some heated argument or finger pointing. Wallace was clearly explaining what happened, taking ownership of the situation. This is the kind of maturity and sportsmanship that NASCAR needs more of. This whole situation becomes even more interesting when you know the history between these two drivers. Just a few weeks earlier at Daytona, they had a completely different kind of incident. During the regular season finale, there was a massive wreck in Stage 1. Wallace got turned after Larson drafted him from behind, and Wallace ended up spinning onto the infield before slamming back into Austin Cindric. Wallace's spotter, Freddie Kraft, was furious and immediately blamed Larson on the radio, saying the number 5 car tried to force his way into the middle. But Larson fired back, questioning why Wallace was crowding the other cars so much. Wallace told reporters after that crash, "The hit from the 5 shoved me down there." So there was definitely some tension between these guys coming into Gateway. That makes Wallace's reaction at Gateway even more impressive. He could have easily used their Daytona history as an excuse to be less charitable toward Larson. Instead, he took the high road and showed genuine concern for his competitor. Here's what makes this story even better. Despite the mechanical problem that cost him the race lead, Wallace still managed to finish 8th. That might not sound amazing, but for Wallace at Gateway, it was actually historic. Before this race, his best finish at this track was 21st. He'd only won once at Gateway in his entire career, and that was back in 2014 in the Truck Series. Wallace had been honest about his struggles at this track too. The day before the race, he told reporters, "We don't really have anything to brag about in the Cup car here. Aside from our 2014 truck win, a little bit different." He called Gateway one of the tracks where they needed to figure something out, but he was excited for the challenge. The 8th place finish ended up being huge for Wallace's playoff chances. After 2 rounds of the playoffs, he's sitting 4th in the standings with 50 points above the elimination line. Larson is even better off, sitting 3rd with 60 points above the cutoff. Both drivers are in excellent shape to advance to the round of 12. But here's what's really shocking about Wallace's season. This Gateway performance helped him set a personal record for laps led in a single season. Before this year, his career best was 285 laps, led back in 2023. After leading 73 laps at Gateway, Wallace has now led over 343 laps this season. That's not just improvement, that's a massive leap forward. The whole season has been career-defining for Wallace. He broke a 100-race winless streak by winning the Brickyard 400 at Indianapolis, which secured his playoff spot. He's already got 4 top 5 finishes and 12 top 10s in just 28 races, putting him on pace to shatter his previous career bests. After Gateway, Wallace was feeling confident about his playoff position. He told reporters, "We are plus 50, that is a good sight to see. Solid execution all day with varying strategies from the whole field. Looking at big picture, if you would have told me we would have led laps and had the car maybe to win today after practice, I would have said hell no." But Wallace isn't getting comfortable. When asked about advancing to the next round, he said, "We got to get there first. It all starts with practice. Excited to go to Bristol, one of my favorite tracks. I like where we're sitting, but still a lot of unfinished business." That phrase, unfinished business, tells you everything you need to know about Wallace's mindset. He's not just happy to be in the playoffs. He thinks he can make a real run at the championship 4, and honestly, based on how fast his car has been, he might be right.